Thank goodness it's Friday. First Sky Omaha Radio, First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Yep.
Hey, this thing on.
Testing, 1, 2.
Ooh.
What time is it?
Time to get up.
Time to move your body. What up, what up, what up? Get up, get up, get up. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. I gotta wake up for real.
You gotta get your body moving. Smell the coffee beans.
Yeah.
It's not Folgers.
I need to do a line of coffee ground.
Oh God, I don't recommend that. You didn't. If you do that, you did that on your own volition. Don't need nobody to talk about First Sky.
Hey, good morning, good morning, good morning. You're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio, First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Paul B, Buddi3 Da Gawd, all of you chat chimers, all of you ghost listeners, thanks for getting up early with us on this Friday, the February the 3rd, 2023.
Man.
Already February, man. Already getting in there. Black History Month.
Get in there.
We got some they up with us this morning. Pops gives us a good Friday morning First Sky. We all woke up on the right side of the grass, so it's a lovely day. Love from Las Vegas. I heard that.
Okay. Little Bill Withers, huh?
There you
lovely
go.
Day.
Judy Prinzer gives us a good morning. Good morning to you, Judy. Appreciate you coming on in. We were looking at some records and stuff last night, and I was seeing all the names from all y'all that came on through.
Read my mind.
Started up with us 2 years ago, man. I was like, man, they've been with us this whole time. Appreciate you guys.
Day one.
Yeah, our day ones. There you go.
Yeah, man. All of y'all, Judy, Josh, moms.
That's right.
Yeah, man. We appreciate you. We love y'all for your long time support, consistent support. Man, it really, really means a lot. We really appreciate y'all. Just kind of looking at over the last 2 years and just reliving and recapping the story of First Sky Omaha, man. We've had several iterations now here in season 5, and it's been a beautiful thing. It's been a beautiful thing.
Yeah, man. So, yeah, it was a trip going down memory lane. Josh Day says, hey, happy Friday. What's going on, bro? Mama God, good morning, First Sky fam. Good morning to you as well. Ariel's 402 says, I'm not your superwoman. I'm not the kind of girl you can let down and think everything is okay. Boy, I'm okay. Man, you bringing back the old school. Ariel's 402, this is what I need from you. This is the 50th anniversary of hip hop. So we need them lyrics.
Yeah.
What's some of your best lyrics, some top fives? I know you all about Ice-T. Give us some of his best lines. One of my favorite songs in the world, though, is New Jack Hustler. So I'm gonna just go ahead and say you might be right about that. Ice-T top 5.
Okay.
Yep. Wanda Lewis says, "How come you're not on Facebook?" We should be.
Yeah, we should. Oh, Judy's on Facebook. So
is Judy on Facebook?
Yeah, it has an F next to her name.
Let me take a look and see what's going on there.
Yeah. Somebody let us know.
Yeah, please do. Shout out to the 630 crew. Everybody listening to the radio channel on 630. We appreciate that very, very much.
You get some iced tea in there?
I don't have no iced tea in there. I still got to edit a couple little things before I can put them on the channel.
Oh yeah, Hey, I need that 6 in the morning though.
Yeah, we better call Augie Kid up, the master editor.
Man, actually, you know what? You brought up a good point. I might have some opportunities for him out here. There's a lot of artists without a clean music out here.
Man, yeah, I don't understand it. Why don't they put that in the game anymore? That's interesting.
Man, well, while we're talking about hip hop, you know, shout out to Rap Juggernaut, who's a well known like street promoter out, you know,
Cool.
in the industry, especially in the southeast region. He is always pushing that if you're an artist, I know a couple people have like children that are artists. Make sure that they bring out. You're supposed to every song is supposed to have 9 versions.
Right. 9 versions.
Nine versions. You got, you know, clean edits, dirty edits, radio edits, opens for 8-bar opens for DJs. You need
Mm.
acapellas, you need instrumental, you need lyrics, especially if you want like videos, Spotify,
Mm.
Genius, you know, all this stuff, man. 9 versions of a song. Each song has to come out for it to go to everywhere it needs to go.
Back in when I was doing anything, it was about 4 versions you needed, 5 versions if you wanted to have the dance edit on the 12-inch.
Man.
So that's interesting, man. Yeah. I forgot Genius and everything exists now. That's a trip.
It's a new
Yep,
day.
yep.
I mean, you got videos with, you know, just lyric videos,
There you go.
visualizers on YouTube, all that stuff.
Hey, Wanda Lewis, we are on Facebook. Everybody's checking in, saying, yeah, Facebook is cool. You might want to restart it and try it again. Tamika Thomas says, "Good morning, family from Houston. How you doing?
Hey, that's
Good morning."
cousin Tammy. It's my cousin.
Oh, okay, cool. Good morning to you. Are you getting hit with the snow and the cold weather out there too?
Man.
Jonathan Benjamin Alvarado came through last Wednesday, and said they were home because of a snow day out there in Texas. So I'm like,
Yeah.
man,
My actually I forgot my brother lives in Austin and yeah, I spoke to him and he said, yeah, the kids are out of school. Like I'm talking like kids, it's like 10 o'clock, man. Why the kids sleep? Don't they got school? Like, nah, man, it's
that's
you ain't
crazy.
heard? And I'm like, oh yeah. So apparently, you know, it's bad enough. It's icy, but not a lot of snow, at least in the Austin area, from what I heard. Yep. Cousin Tammy says no, just cold. So, but it's enough to shut the whole city down. That's the interesting part.
It
Like,
is. That's crazy. Amy Helpless gives us a good morning. Good morning to you. Appreciate you very, very much. Mama God's talking about FB over on Facebook, but switch to YouTube because she likes it better. Appreciate that.
hey,
Ariel's 402 is giving us the lyrics. Cops hate kids, kids hate cops, cops kill kids with warning shots. What is justice? I think I forgot. Come on, Ice T.
mm,
You
mm.
I have to rethink that, Ice T. On the Ice T is at least top 10 for me. I don't know if I can drop
He's
down to
keep
top 5.
climbing up. He's climbing
He
up.
climbing up. He climbing up. Wanda Lewis says if it's on Facebook, then the notification wasn't sent. I'll look for it. Interesting.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there was some weird thing going on last night with it. I had to restart reattach Facebook to the program and all that. So maybe that's why that happened.
Mm, mm.
But good
Facebook.
morning to you. Oh, she's over on Facebook now. Good morning on Facebook. Great. Appreciate that very much. Once again, this is the 50th anniversary of hip hop, and so I wanted to start a little thing here this month. In the spirit of what we used to do with the Trekkie Words of Wisdom,
Man.
I want to do rare hip hop facts. If
Okay.
you guys don't mind. Yeah, so I'm gonna just jump into one of the ones. I'm gonna be spending a lot of time in 1990s hip hop because I feel like 90s is the best era for hip hop.
Okay.
Period. But before I do that, I'm gonna jump back for one in 1980 because it's relevant to now. Big Daddy Kane is all over the place right now. He's considered a legend. He's playing everywhere. They're really recognizing his legendary genius. And interesting hip hop fact from the 80s, Big Daddy Kane used to ghostwrite for Biz Markie.
Hmm.
So for
I
You
heard
Got
that.
What I Need, all those songs that Biz Markie did, that was Big Daddy Kane ghostwriting for that.
I heard that.
So yeah, so there you go. There's your hip hop, your 50 years of hip hop facts, and we'll throw another one in every time we get on the show for sure. We save the page so I won't lose that page. So there you go. Rick Fulton says, "Do you guys have your own studio?" No, we do not. We were working at Weberize at one point. Weberize is some partners of ours that have a podcast studio.
Shout out to
Uh,
them.
excuse me. And then Buddy took that flight and started the lab over at his spot. I started the lab here because we were supposed to be doing more um, broadcasts out in the field which we will be doing coming up this spring. So
Mm-hmm.
so yeah, we'll be doing stuff where we can broadcast live from a black-owned restaurant, all kinds of stuff like that. So we'll be traveling around a little bit more this year. We kind of had a little taste of that last August when we went out to Napa Valley and did a broadcast there. So
Yeah.
yeah, we're kind of gonna be in the cloud a little bit,
In the sky. Mhm.
up in the sky, right?
Yeah. First class.
Judy Prisoner says, I've been listening for a long time. Wish I could remember how I got hooked up with you. You all have been a blessing to my life. Oh, appreciate
Man.
you've been a blessing to our life too, for sure. We
Yeah,
appreciate your
thank you.
support.
Thank you.
Long time supporter, man, from the jump. So really appreciate that. Pop says, I love the idea. Hip hop little known facts. Very cool. Thanks, Pop.
Yeah. I
Appreciate
know
that.
you might have some Pops.
You might. You might.
Might know somebody.
Pop's been an R&B cat for a minute. And I know I told you I've been going through archive tapes.
Mm-hmm.
I got this little tape project going on. Man, I found something that Pops was doing one of them old school raps on. Pops, you remember that?
All right.
I've
All
talking
right.
about that. At the time he did it, I was like, why is why is he trying to do rap? This is my thing. And now I'm going back on it. It sounds like that's what it sounds like. It sounds like somebody his age doing a rap. And it's like it reminds me of my uncles and everybody being like, oh man, we can rap. Everybody's been rhyming since the 60s. Everybody, what about last poets and blah blah blah,
Mm-hmm. And now look at you. Talk about starting the old heads. Look at you.
That's right. I'm gonna start the old heads, bro, for real.
Oh man.
Rick Fulton says, can I come on and join you guys for a segment someday? Yeah, we can definitely let's talk about it off air for sure, man. We would be down to talk about that and figure out what we can talk about together as well. Ty Williams gives us a good morning with some sunshine. We need it. It's 3 degrees out here.
Man.
Read my lips. 3 degrees.
Yeah. I still get weather notices to my laptop, and every time I look down, it's like, oh yeah, that's Omaha. I'm like, oh wait, no, that's not here.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, it says 5 on my laptop, by the way.
All right, we're up 2 degrees.
Yeah. In the right direction.
Stay warm. Check on your loved ones, all that good stuff, man. We got to. Stay tuned today. We got, excuse me, the legislative report. Senator Justin Wayne and Terrell McKinney, put some respect on their names. We're going to come through and talk to them a little bit about a few things. I was trying to get another guest on today, but could not hook it up. But we got some interesting stuff coming up. Some people that I've been talking to that purchased the old Native Omaha Club building.
Oh, yeah, the couple.
Street. Yeah. We're still trying to get them locked down. And a few other things. Michelle Trosclair and Marcy Yates are going to come on and talk about these hip hop shows that are coming up in the month of February, Black History Month.
Yeah, man.
And so yeah, we'll talk about that. Arrows 402 says, I met 8 Ball, BG, Too Short, and Cartier back in the day.
Man,
he was hanging out.
Man, I got a couple stories.
Some name dropping to do around here.
Yeah. That's actually what I'm like. The hip hop facts is cool, but I've heard I don't even know if I can repeat some of these stories, but it's very interesting. Like, very interesting.
We should add that in there. What personal hip hop stories we got going on too, on top of hip hop facts. That's what's up. 7:14 right now. If you believe in the concept of time, buddy, what are we gonna be talking about today on top of talking to the senators?
Man, of course, continuing our tracking, continuing our coverage of the bills as the legislative session gets going. So definitely looking out for that. A lot of people spoke up about the abortion bill, so we'll definitely dive into that. Shout out to anyone who went down to Lincoln on Wednesday. Also, a lot of people speaking up about LB 18, so we'll be talking about that as well. Again, LB 18, the bill that could possibly send Brother Ernest Jackson home. So we're definitely looking out for that one. We do have some good news, some good things going on in the hood, if you will. Shout out to the Omaha Public Library, which, Paul, I know you're part of the steering committee with this, so maybe you have some insight. But again, the Omaha Public Library and Metro Community College have teamed up for what's called a Digital Express. It's a 1,300 square foot room, or excuse me, 13,000 square foot room that will, again, provide digital and electronic access to the community of North Omaha. Again, this is the Fort Campus area. So we'll talk about that. Also looking at this report that came out, I'm sure some of the chat chimers, some of the listeners out there have heard of this new report. Again, they haven't even finished the prison that they're trying to build. They haven't even fully raised the money for that. They haven't even started, and yet they're already talking about building, I think, 2 more prisons. So yeah, we'll definitely dive into that situation, what's going on with that. And more, of course, as always, if there's something on your hearts, your minds that we're not discussing, and you feel like we should be, feel free to let us know. Let your mind be free, let your voice be heard, as always. But in the meantime, in between time, let's go ahead and get this show on the road. Paul B, Buddi3 Da Gawd. You all right, Paul? We good?
Man, I'm awake.
There we go.
Let's do it.
Go.
What up, what up, what up, what up? Good morning, good morning, good morning. You're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio, First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Paul B, Buddi3 Da Gawd, all of you chat chimers, all of you ghost listeners, thanks for joining us on this Friday, the 3rd of February. And it is very early in the morning and only about 5 degrees in Omaha, Nebraska right now. So bundle up. You got to get out there. Yeah, cold. Also, a shout out to the 630 crew. You can always listen to a celebration of Black music. If you go to firstskyOmaha.com, hit the listen button. 24/7 digital radio station. If you have an Amazon Alexa too, you can ask Alexa to give you a First Sky Omaha radio, and you can check it out over there. So definitely check us out there. Definitely trying to build the channel up. We got a lot of things to come here in season 5. Season 5, teamwork makes the dream work is our theme. We're going to keep talking about all of those things as we continue on. And right now, it's kind of all about the legislative session. So legislative bills are what we've been talking a lot about right now. And that's why we're going to have the Senators Justin Wayne and Terrell McKinney on today to do what we call the legislative report. So get your questions ready for them as well. And lots of things that we can always talk about with them. There's not enough time in the week to talk to them about all the things that there is to talk about what's going on right now. So yeah, I want to give a shout out to Kimra Snipes, who joins us on Wednesday with What's Good in the Hood. She's in the chat right now over on YouTube, giving us a good morning, y'all. Good morning to you. Appreciate you very much. Ghost Listener 402 says, what about the voter ID bill? Yes, we'll definitely be talking about that. People came out in droves for that as well, for sure. Rick Fulton says, City Council brought their urban core message downtown to Creighton last night, talking about for Miss Juanita Johnson's press conference. So we'll definitely be talking a little bit about that. I appreciate the information. Let us know what else they talked about down there for those of us that didn't make it. Also, Kimra Snipes says hearing was packed for voter ID Wednesday. Only one person came with us to testify, though. Okay. Appreciate your efforts there, Miss Kimra Snipes, for sure. Stephen Abraham in the chat, good morning, says we made it through another rotation. And green comment. Rise to good for self and others. Message, man. Appreciate the message very much. So, Kimra Snipes says, I'm waiting for updates to see if it gets out of committee. Julie Slama put a last minute amendment that wasn't public on the are you talking about on the voter ID bill?
Yep.
Wow. Ghost Listeners 402 was it only OPS board member? I'm not sure what you mean by that.
I think it's referring to Johnson's bill.
Oh, okay. Yeah. 38 pages. Wow. Christy Nora gives us a little insight on that too. I appreciate you joining us over there on YouTube. If you're on YouTube, tell a friend, share the show. If you're on Facebook, share the show as well. Not sure why the notification didn't go off this morning, but we appreciate everybody that's on Facebook. If you're on there, share the show. And also hit like and subscribe and all that good stuff on YouTube. We're trying to reach that 200 mark. I think we're about 188 is last we heard from our resident. Yeah, we're almost there. But yeah, tell a friend, tell a friend. We want to get as many people in as possible to have some discussion on all these topics and issues. And well, speaking of topics and issues, let's go ahead and jump into some. So, Buddy, what's on the agenda today?
Man, well, we'll kick off with some good news. Talking about some things happening on the north side, partnership between Omaha Public Library and MCC, a Metro Community College. This is being reported by KETV News 3. And this is all about the Digital Express, which is, again, a 13,000 square foot space at Metro Community College's Fort Omaha campus. The space is not just for college students, though. Even though it is on the campus, it is available to the whole community. Will be a full tech area, accessible and aimed to address the digital divide. Of course, we talked about some of the tech things that are lacking in the area, things like, of course, broadband internet, fiber internet, access to computers, as far as like a Do Space-esque area. If you remember, Do Space was located way out on 72nd and Dodge. And if you live on down like on 16th or something and, don't have transportation of your own, access to those types of resources was limited. Or, even if you just didn't know about it, access to those things were limited. And now, again, there's an opportunity on the Fort Omaha campus right on 30th, right up the road, for those to access. So the Digital Express features a wide variety of meeting spaces tied to a larger common area. It features a number of computers, both PC and Macs, as well as full service technology center where laptops and tablets can be checked out for use. And I know several people in the community who don't have a laptop of their own, can't afford one. So this is a big, you kind of take it for, if you have a laptop, if you have access to that stuff, you kind of take it for granted of what it might mean not having that. There's also a repair area called Reboot Central, which will fix personal devices at little to no cost. So yeah, that's, it can be pretty expensive to go up to like a Best Buy or a Geek Squad or something to get a laptop repaired. So again, these are all definitely good things. A couple of heads in the community were quoted in this article as well. Shout out to Shamari Huggins and Johnny No Good. Shamari says, this space gives me the opportunity to be able to utilize equipment that I might not be able to purchase right now. Also, Johnny No Good says, I use it as a space to gather my thoughts, have some quiet space, and lock in with no distraction. So, and again, these are people I would see frequently out in Do Space. You know what I mean? So,
That's right.
And so the fact that they now have a space to utilize closer to home is a big thing. So big shout out to the library. Big shout out to Metro Community College, and hopefully this is a good omen of what to expect moving forward.
That's what's up. That's good to hear. So I was thinking that, because of being on the library steering committee, I'm hearing about what they're going to do with the Washington branch over there off of 30th. What is it? 30th and Ames.
Yep.
And so I'm like, how are they gonna, what kind of room are they gonna make over there to be a Do Space style space? Because that's kind of what they're trying to do with all the branches, is kind of turn them into more digital spaces that way.
Mm.
And I'm sitting over there thinking, in Metropolitan Community College got these new 3 big buildings they just built about 6 years ago. And I know there's robotics and virtual reality and all kinds of tech and stuff in there. So I'm glad to hear that they're going to utilize some of that space in order to make kind of a bigger Do Space like place, especially in that area. So that's good news, man. I'm happy to hear that. That's what's up. I'm definitely utilizing myself.
Yeah,
I
man.
know, they got shop, they got all kinds of stuff in there, 3D modeling. So I'm pretty sure that they're probably going to incorporate all that in that space as well, just like how Do Space does. So that's what's up. Kimmer Snipes in the chat. Cliff Albright texted me and said he's coming in a day earlier to better understand the housing issue, Legacy and Evans Towers. Dude is an organizer for real.
Yeah.
Cliff Albright is the brother out in Atlanta who's doing Black Voters Matter, and he's going to come out here and do a summit with Preston Love, who's heading up Black Votes Matter here in Omaha, Nebraska, coming up on what day is it? The 4th. So that's actually tomorrow. So.
Yep.
And it's going to be at the venue at Highlander. We'll talk about this in the Haps a little later on. But I love the team up here. Black Voters Matter, Black Votes Matter, Atlanta, Omaha connection. That's right up our alley right there.
Yeah, man.
And also Deidre Desir is going to be there as a special guest to speak as well. So yeah, definitely check that out. You can always call Preston Love Jr. if you got any questions on that. Kimmer, are you part of this I know you helped put it together. Are you part of that actual event? Let us know. Appreciate that very much. Wanda Lewis says you only pay for the part, not labor. I think I'm missing an earlier post of hers on
No,
that.
she's talking about this Reboot Central, this MCC
Oh,
thing, and some of the repairs. Again, you don't pay for the labor and the repairs.
oh
That's how they reduce the cost. You only pay for the part.
man, that's what's up.
Yeah, man.
Okay, we're gonna look at the MCC's budget, see how they got money to do all this. We're gonna
Yeah,
follow the
yeah.
money. Rick Fulton says Creighton President Father Hendrickson wants to work with the city of Omaha to help close Burt Street down on the Creighton University campus. Interesting.
Hmm.
Why does he want to close Burt Street?
Well, I did again last time, last episode on Wednesday when we were talking about this meeting, and kind of just talking about what is Creighton have planned. I did do some digging to find. I wasn't able to find their recent strategic plan, but I was able to find a couple stories, a couple things. I did find a strategic plan from 2017 and some recent stories talking about some expansion that they want to do to a few buildings that are along Birch Street. So I think that's a part of it as far as expanding those buildings and possibly even taking Birch Street out to make room for that expansion. I believe Christie Hall was one of the buildings that they were trying to expand in that area.
2030, Creighton gonna be all the way up to Ames.
Man, what's somebody say? New Creighton?
Oh man, Creighton side.
Man,
Ghost Listeners 402 says, can he do training for non-functional North Omaha organizations? Yo,
is that?
I'm not sure where that's coming from. Ghost Listeners 402, can he do training for non-functional North Omaha organizations? I was talking about the brother that Wanda Lewis, that Kimmer Snipes was talking about,
Brother Cliff
Albright.
Albright.
Yeah. Good question. Rick Full, let's see. Juanita Johnson wants Creighton University to use its resources to help North Omaha. Yeah, I mean that would be ideal. They got a ton of them. They're building all the time. They're definitely building into North Omaha even more. So we'll see. We'll see. Kimber Snipes says yes. She'll also be facilitating a breakout during the summit as well. So she'll be there too. So excuse me. So definitely, if you can break out tomorrow and go check that out, it might be a good thing. Also, that's I thought that was it is Saturday tomorrow. That's why. Okay,
Yeah,
I'm like,
it's
I thought
Friday,
this
man.
was Saturday. Yeah. Okay. No wonder. I was planning on going to this 9 to 2 tomorrow on February 4th. So might see me down there as well. Interesting collaboration going on there. Just to go in a little further here. Stephen Abraham, good morning, over on Facebook says nobody travels on Burt since Burt Towers closed. Okay. Rick Fulton says Chris Rogers was there and mentioned Creighton University asked for $10 million from the Wayne state money. They were recommended for 2.
Yeah, that's in there. And it's all about that expansion.
Stephen Abraham says we got 3 elected officials to help prevent Creighton campus impending into North Omaha. Okay. Did they? It still seems like it's going on. So maybe we need 4 elected. We need some more elected officials, I think, to help here. Also, Rick Fulton says the North Omaha crowd was not pleased with Creighton's reach, as expected. So let's see. Yeah, interesting. We'll have to keep our eye on what's going on there. I appreciate the report from Juanita Johnson's meeting. Jumping back over to what Kimmer's talking about here. She says, I have talked to Cliff about trainings. He's willing to work with organizations as long as they are focused on the Black community. So the answer is yes, he can do training. That's cool. Also, Kimmer Snipes says, I'm also working with Pro Georgia to try to get someone from there to do some training with some of my member organizations. So organizing training is always something that we can definitely take advantage of. I love the fact that there might be somebody here from Atlanta where there's a lot of organizing going on, on a bigger scale even that might be able to come and help. So that's what's up. Appreciate that very much. Ghost Sisters 402 says North Omaha kids not getting into Creighton. That's part of the problem too. Creighton is in, but we ain't in Creighton.
Man, and it's so expensive.
What
scholarships are available,
Yeah, interesting. Marianne Williams gives us a good morning over from YouTube. Good morning. She says yesterday LB 783 to defund Nebraska's community college was heard in the revenue committee. Need people to comment on that. Yep,
Man,
that's one I did see. They're trying to make it so that they can't tap into the property taxes the same way the school does.
well,
So
there you go.
if that happens, then where does you know, Metro get the money? You know what I'm saying? How, how much will that cut back things significantly over there?
Man, will they have to close the Digital Express because lack of funding?
Close before they open.
Man,
Stop before they start. Yeah, man. Go ahead.
want to shout out to the mayor, man, Ariel's World too, with a great idea as always. Says there should be free internet in all drug-free zones, man.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah. So I would call you the mayor.
Well, I've lived in cities where there was free internet for the whole city.
That part.
So the whole metro area. Um, so yeah, if you're in any public space, you ought to be able to have some free internet. But I don't think they'll ever do that here. But that's an idea.
Definitely an
Christy
idea.
North says, please keep an eye on the Nebraska legislature, everyone. They are slipping so much in behind our backs.
Yeah.
Here's the question: what can you do? What can you do? What can you do about them doing all this slipping and sliding? We can be there and pay attention to things. Session be over, and they slip something in right before the session ends, and all kinds of things like that going on. So let's see. She says, we need to hold Brewer accountable. He committed fraud. Okay,
Let us know how. If you got
we'll
any
get to that
articles or
story.
any more information on that, want to look into that. But let's keep it moving, man. That is a good time to pivot because we do have several bills to look out for and to talk about and keep the bills coming. Again, 800 plus bills being debated on the floor and being presented. So yeah, I'm pretty sure there's some things falling between the cracks that we should all look out for. So definitely big shout out to all of you bringing bills to our attention. But shout out specifically to those who went out on Wednesday to testify again. Bill 626, labeled the Nebraska Heartbeat Act. Of course, this is something that we've been talking about here on the show, going back to the Roe v. Wade situation and that took place last year. And Michelle kind of, laying it out to us in one of her poignant soapbox moments, exactly how, important these abortion bills are and, kind of the bigger picture as far as it's not just about the abortions, it's about more. And as far as the Roe v. Wade, what other rights, what other, things that we thought were solid are at jeopardy. But specifically in Nebraska, again, LB 626, the Nebraska Heartbeat Act, has been very controversial to say the least, and hundreds of Nebraskans lined the halls to testify at the Health and Human Services Committee hearing. And again, the Nebraska Heartbeat Act would ban most abortions in Nebraska around 6 weeks past the gestation period. That's once the embryonic cardiac activity can be detected. That's referred to by supporters as the fetal heartbeat. Ahead of the hearing, the line of supporters and opponents stretched nearly from one end of the building to another. From most of the hearing, a constant murmur could be heard from the hallway with the occasional shout or chant breaking through. So again, a lot of people speaking out against this bill. Under the new bill that's being proposed, a physician's medical license could be revoked if they perform an abortion after the cardiac activity is detected. This differs from last year's proposed ban, which would have made it a criminal offense to perform an abortion. So now you're just losing your license. It's not necessarily a criminal offense, but neither bill will penalize the woman receiving an abortion. The change led to LB 626 to delegate it to Human Services, as opposed to the Judiciary Committee, again, which is the difference, because if it was a criminal offense, then it would have to go through the Judiciary Committee. But because it's a medical license situation, is going through the Health Committee, which could change as far as how the bill is argued and how it's voted on based on the different committee. But supporting and opposing testimony on the bill was limited to about 3 hours each. That was not enough, however, to get through all of the supporters and opponents who wanted to testify, just to give you an idea of how many people were speaking up on this issue.
Yeah. Anybody see any pictures or anybody from the chat go down there? Because I heard it was that was like the most people that they had down there. Just you guys, everybody flooded that scene, and I saw something from one of the newspapers that it looked like a pretty big crowd. So let us know if you were down there and what you thought about how things went, and does that kind of stuff make a difference? Is kind of my question too, for sure. Um, Not really hearing anything wrong, so I'm not sure there. So yeah, it's interesting subject that we knew that this was going to be a whole lot of folks showing up against this. You know, what we understand is that most of the state is opposed to these laws. So it's interesting to me how most of the state can be opposed to something and it still be something that somebody pushes through. It just goes to show you that some of these senators are not talking to their constituents or don't care about what that, they're playing more political games than they are talking to about what the people actually want.
Man,
So yeah,
or
so
listening to science. There's some science things that again, opponents of the legislation include the medical practitioners, Nebraska Medical Association, Nebraska Nurses Association, American College of OBGYN, and several other medical associations are opposing this. So a lot of people in the medical community speaking out against this too. I mean, I'm gonna go on a limb and say it's mostly just religious people who are speaking up in support of this type of bill.
yeah, I don't know. Could be. But like I said, once again, I feel like every time we look at any kind of surveys, studies, or anything, that when you're talking to people, and you can kind of see it too, and how many people showed up to be against these bills. Um, you're the thing that stands out in my mind is if I'm a legislator, am I supposed to be going off of my religion, or am I supposed to be talking to my constituents and representing what they have decided they wanted? And that stands out to me every time I see something happen like that, where I'm thinking majority of the folks don't want this. Then why is this person pushing for it? You gotta be like I don't think in general they're doing their job. They're like that's like a lawyer that you got counsel, you got a counsel on your case, and they decide they got another point rather than
Mhm.
what it is you need.
They're sticking to the facts
So
of the case.
right, Ghost Listener 402 in the chat says big effort on black women. Niece had troubles bad.
Mm.
uh, and that's reminding me of a lot of this stuff is definitely affects brown and black people, black and brown people more than whenever there's anything that has to do with like you and your doctor not being able to make a decision, for sure. Marianne Williams says I was blown away from the number of physicians who showed up to testify against it. At least 2 full hours of physicians saying the abortion bill is dangerous. So that's interesting. The professional physicians going down and saying that stuff too. Christy Norris says Brewer was registered in Cass County and represents a district in western Nebraska. You must live in the district you represent. His homestead exemption is on his home. His homestead exemption is on his home in Cass County, which is his main residence. So this is the thing that they're saying he needs to be held accountable for representing in a district that he doesn't live, which is not legal or not. He's not supposed to be doing that as as
Mm.
a senator.
So is it
Uh,
fraudulent? Did he misrepresent where he lived? Is that the fraudulent act?
yeah, probably sounds like it. Got property somewhere. Did he try this? This is like touching a memory of mine
Don
from.
Bacon, I think.
Was it Don Bacon?
I
There
think
was
so.
somebody who we were no wait who else? There was
It was
somebody
Don
else.
Bacon.
Oh, it was Ernie Chambers. They were trying to pin this on Ernie Chambers at one time that he didn't live in the district.
Hmm.
Um, I think this might have been back either right at the beginning of First Sky days or Mine and Soul days. But yeah, I remember
I
hearing
think
about this.
I think I do remember that back in the
Yeah,
minor soul days. But there was some hoopla about the same thing with Don Bacon too, as far as where he lived versus where he represented. I think
interesting.
after they redistrict some things, his district had moved.
Yeah.
Some things like that. But okay,
Uh,
okay,
jump,
thanks for bringing it.
Jumping back into the chat real quick. Christy Nora is saying what we all need to remember: right call, make your voice heard, follow the Nebraska Legislature Study Group. Shout out to the Nebraska Legislature Study Group. That's who I've been checking out a lot lately. And they're the ones that are broadcasting the stuff too from Nebraska from the channel. So you're able to watch that the legislature. I copy that on Friends of First Sky Omaha, and so shout out to them for that. She says, make sure we're supporting Kimmer and others. Yeah, and make sure that we start arranging getting down there with Kimmer and others.
Man,
So it's not just them two down there speaking too. So we're going to keep on stressing that and keep on trying to get there ourselves and get groups together. Today's is it today the day that Preston's going down, or was it yesterday?
That was Wednesday.
Wednesday. Okay, yeah. So we should reach out to Preston Love and find out how many people that was ended up showing up there and coming down. Lots of people that were speaking on LB18, which we have been talking about that would be the bill that would help Ernest Jackson get a new trial.
Mm-hmm.
And I got a chance to watch that on the legislative study group channel, uh and it was really interesting. Who we had friends like Medicine Song, who's been really pushing for this. She was down there testifying. A lot of people came down and testified. Justin Wayne is when I first came on, he was testifying. Really compelling evidence to the case. He's a lawyer, so he knows what to bring out. A lawyer from the ACLU also testified. Lots of stuff. Lots of testifying going down, and then Don Klein got up, and it was really interesting to hear what he had to say. Such a punishment. The attitude of punishing people and stuff like that is just so strong with those cats, man.
Mm-hmm.
It can't be denied. It just can't be denied. Wanda Lewis in the chat says, "Did you hear about the 7 million that Don Bacon designated for North 24 streetscapes?" Didn't hear about that.
No.
7 million for streetscapes. We got to make the streets pretty.
For who and for what? Don't got to put businesses there for people to drive on the street to come to.
Yeah, man, that's interesting, bro.
Give them a reason to drive down the street.
Pop said Herschel Walker didn't even live in the same state.
Yeah, isn't he a resident of Texas?
She can run anywhere, I guess, and live anywhere. That's funny.
Man,
Not living in the district is the thing nowadays, I guess. Like
seems like everybody's doing it.
7:42 right now. If you believe in the concept of time, moving on. Did you want to speak a little bit about that? LB18. Is it? We got any news?
Yeah. Well, actually, before we get to that, there's a couple bills, but all the same. Is an example and a reason for us to make sure we can get as many bodies as possible down to Lincoln. Yes, it does help to write comments and letters and make phone calls, but nothing beats being there in person. Make that energy, make that presence felt, and that was definitely the case on the voter ID bill. Yes, on Wednesday, actually, LB 535, which was presented by State Senator Julie Slama, who actually provided a revised version. There we go, of the bill. Two members of the Government, Military, and Veterans Affairs Committee at the start of the packed public hearing. A big shout out again to Sister Kimber Snipes and those others who were there in attendance to speak and again to be heard on this issue. Slama, again, who led the ballot initiative for the voter ID last year, introduced LB 535 early in the session, and on Wednesday she called the original bill a placeholder and said the amendment represents her proposal to ensure the security of Nebraska elections while protecting every person's right to vote. Again, this is going back to the Trump theory, the Trump conspiracy, that there was rampant voter fraud across the country, which there has not been any evidence of. Several judges have ruled that there was not any voter fraud. There was no voter fraud found. Even Nebraska's Secretary of State recognized it, but yet here we are. According to Slama, it is our responsibility to make sure that only the votes of eligible voters are counted and to protect public confidence in the integrity and legitimacy of our representative government. But again, there are several people who were opponents of this bill speaking out. So again, big shout out to them. Both LB 535 and the amendment spell out acceptable types of identification, which is one of the big questions that a lot of opponents had as far as what type of ID is available. And it would allow the use of a valid Nebraska driver's license or state ID, also passports, military, veteran, or tribal ID cards, and a newly created Nebraska voter ID card. So I guess they're going to create a whole nother card just for this bill. Will you have to pay for that? I don't know. But the amendment will also allow for other photographic documents issued by state or federal agencies for proof of ID. A lot more hoops just to vote.
The thing that stood out to me was that you got to get a notary if you're going to vote from home. If you're going to vote by mail-in ballot, it's got to be a notary now.
Has to be
Yeah,
notarized.
right, that's right. Yeah, that's crazy,
Which you
man.
have to pay for.
Yeah, what you got to pay for, right, right. Among other things. So, Ariel's 402 got a good question. Would the same procedure be applied to purchasing a gun? Interesting.
No. That's gonna be a lot easier. Oh man.
7:45 right now. If you believe in the concept of time, we're gonna take a quick break here. We have our senators sitting in the wings, so we're gonna bring him on as soon as we get back. But stay tuned. Again, you're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio, First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Paul B, Buddi3 Da Gawd, all of you chat chimers, all of you ghost listeners, stay tuned. We'll be right back, y'all. Welcome back. First Sky Omaha Radio, First Sky Omaha in the morning. Paul B, Buddi3 Da Gawd. Oh, I'll just step on your line.
Just keep on going.
Man, I want to hear the beautiful voice. First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
There you go. Appreciate you, Paul B, Buddi3 Da Gawd. Amy Helpful says, I'm a notary and won't charge for
there
your
you go.
pay. I love that. So yeah, lots more to talk about on those things, and who better to talk about them than the brothers that are on. So we'll bring them on right now, ladies and gentlemen, brothers senators Justin Wayne and Terrell McKinney.
Hey,
getting up early with us again. How you brothers doing?
Good. How you doing?
Good,
all
man.
right.
Appreciate you. I know you guys is working long and hard hours. So really, once again, always appreciate when you guys come on through in the morning, man. Appreciate you very much.
Man, in the trenches per se. So yeah, definitely appreciate y'all. How y'all doing before we get into just how's life?
It's cool. Doing good. It's cool.
Okay. This has been a long week. That's all.
Another day in the office, huh?
Yep.
That's what's up, man.
What's new? We're kind of talking about LB 535, the voter ID bill. Of course, we know LB 18 is a hot topic. Kind of what's on your top of mind? What's on your heart as far as some of the bills that we've been hearing, some of the testimony we've been hearing?
Well, for me, I guess Senator McKinney, we've been stuck in judiciary Wednesday through Friday, so we like voter ID and all that stuff that wasn't in front of us, so we didn't. We just saw a lot of people in the hallway, not necessarily in our hearing. So but speaking on that, it was kind of disappointing that we had a lot of folks, particularly from North Omaha, come down and speak on voter ID. But right around the corner, we were doing prison reform and criminal justice bills, and it was only a few people from North Omaha.
Mm.
And I ain't saying voter ID isn't important. I'm just saying at the end of the day, there's some things that are going to affect our community a lot more than others. So we ought to be making sure if we're down here popping people's heads in and letting the committees know that you support other things too.
You think it's a lack of interest on those subjects, or do you think it was a lack of communication that those subjects were going on? Like, was there more hoopla about voter ID, and that's why they knew about it and didn't know about other stuff? What do you think?
Voter ID is sexy, and abortion debate is sexy. You start talking about prison reform, everybody get uncomfortable.
Okay. So you think it's the subject that's holding people back on a little bit? Yeah, that's unfortunate, especially now that we're hearing there's a study out there saying they need another 1,500 beds.
Yeah, but we knew that last year.
They're gonna go for another prison last year, right?
So, Senator McKinney, you might can speak to that because Paul and I were kind of talking about it before the show. For those of you who aren't familiar, again, there was a report that was released, I believe yesterday or sometime earlier this week, as Paul mentioned, that is suggesting that they will need to build more prisons, even before they finish the one that they're trying to build now. So I'm curious, where are they getting these statistics? Like, what are they looking at that's telling them, like, okay, we're going to need to build more prisons? Like, how can they project those numbers?
They're looking at the current flow and they just forecast them forward pretty much. And I think there will be like a 2% or more increase in the prison population. So that's part of it as well. And then also looking at the current population, the issue isn't necessarily the admissions. The length of stays are up because so many people got long sentences that they're not getting out. So it's jamming the system completely.
So they're just piling up.
Man, so the prison reform stuff that you guys were in there in the session yesterday talking about is more about the reform so that we can get less people, have less people in prisons rather than this approach of let's just build more prisons because mathematically we already gonna have enough, we're gonna have more.
Yeah.
Could you give us a little rundown of what the like a summary of what you guys are fighting for as far as the reform is concerned?
So the other day, what was it, Wednesday, we had some bills dealing with giving people second looks, basically after a certain period of time, trying to allow for them to go just be reviewed by the parole board and just look at them and see if they are, doing the things to be released early, and it's just like a progress report pretty much. And because it's a lot of individuals inside that are serving a lot of time and have been taking advantage of all the programming and things like that, and honestly are doing the right stuff, but because of their top but because of their sentence, they more than likely wouldn't get out unless we make some changes.
Yeah, I mean, we've heard some stories about the parole board and things like that. I know you have some bills addressing that as far as a lack of activity in the parole board.
What were you going to say, Brother Wayne?
So when we passed, like murder life sentence years ago, I mean, 1950s, those sentences back then, life was about 30, 40 years. So you sat in for 40 years, but then you still were before the parole board. That's not happening. And so I'm not saying just lifers, but overall, our overall sentencing is just longer. And so we're cracking people that used to get 5, now they're getting 25. And so that's a huge problem. So we're looking at all areas, and we're looking. I mean, part of it is before you get arrested, when you get arrested, then you got your trial, then you got your sentencing, then you got your post sentence, and all those different buckets. We got to find some wins in there to keep people out of the system. I mean, whether it's problem solving courts, drug courts, mental treatment, like those kind of things is where we got to push dollars to. Because at the end of the day, you lock somebody up, 90% of them are coming back out. That's just the facts.
Yeah, I didn't think about that. As far as every step of the way, there's a different trap to keep people in the system at every one of those stages. Like you hear about people being held in prison before they even are convicted. They're just waiting trial and they're sitting there 3-4 years.
Speaking of which, I heard I think it was your bill, Brother McKinney. They were talking about the parole. Like if you're sitting there, if you're not able to pay parole, to get out of jail, if you're sitting there after a certain time, it's obviously you're not able to pay, so they need to go back in court and reassess that. I can't remember who was talking about
That was I think that was Senator John Kavanaugh's
Kavanaugh.
bill.
Yeah.
But his bill basically would say if like you're sitting in a county jail and you can't pay your bond every 21 days, you get an automatic bond review. Because it's a lot of people that sit in the county because they can't pay, and when they can't pay, it's a trickle down effect. They lose their job, home, might lose your kids, and it's all type of stuff. And then also, I can't remember the statistic, but Justin probably could speak to it more than I can because he's a practicing attorney. But it's a lot easier to fight a case outside versus being inside the county, and that's another thing to look at too.
So another example of some of these things that just keep them in the system rotating. Moral of the story here is definitely we got to pay more attention to the prison reform efforts that you guys are doing. Put some bodies down there, look at that, talk about that more, and so on and so forth as well. If you have questions for the senators, please put them in the chat, and we'll definitely talk to them about that. Marianne Williams says, "Don't let them leave without speaking about the bills they'll be hearing next Wednesday." So we'll talk about that too. But before we before we get to that, I saw when I turned on the channel yesterday, I saw you, Brother Wayne, talking about LB 18 and testifying. I've heard some really compelling testimony. I had heard the story several times before, but everybody that was a proponent for that bill came on and really broke it down. The ACLU lawyer, and I got a sense of that story even more than I knew. Just hearing you guys' testimony and was feeling real good until Don Klein got on. But then, but could you tell us? I was kind of proud of some of the friends, Medicine Song, and them that got up and testified and so on. So I was kind of proud of seeing that. But can you give us a little rundown on LB 18 and how you feel it's going?
Well, so LB 18 is kind of been known as the Ernest Jackson bill, free Ernest Jackson. And it's a situation where you have a man who was convicted for a crime that ended up not being a crime. And that's the weird part. It's the elephant in the room is at the end of the day, he got charged with murder. Another person admitted to the murder, and the jury found that other person innocent, reason of self-defense. And so because Ernest went first and couldn't get that testimony in because he took the fifth, he was waiting for his trial to testify and not somebody else's trial. Ernest got locked up. And so even like when people were asking that question, just basically like, hey, the underlying crime that he's supposedly accessory to didn't happen. So how can if you couldn't prove the underlying crime, how can you prove the accessory? And that's kind of the elephant in the room. And yesterday, nobody really had an answer for that. It was a dodge, and we did right. But as I was watching other senators, especially the new senators, everybody kind of turned their head like, this just don't sound right.
Right.
And so that was the good thing. It gave me hope because even our most conservative people, like I said, they were turning their head looking like, wait a minute, the crime didn't happen, but he's sitting in, like, that don't make sense. And so today we're actually going to exec and start talking about some of these bills and seeing where people are. So I'll have a better idea today where people kind of are on the prison reform stuff and criminal justice stuff.
So when you say exec, that you're saying like the committee itself is going to discuss this bill amongst itself, or?
So we go into exec. It's closed except for to the media, and we talk about bills. As chair, and same as urban affairs chair for Senator McKinney, we set the agenda of what we're going to exec on. So why is that important? Because if there's bills that we just don't like, we don't have to exec on them. And so then they can do like a poll motion to pull it out of committee. If there's other things they can do. Now, my belief is if they got the votes, whether I agree with it or not, exec, like that's the thing you're supposed to do. But that's why the chairmanships are important because you kind of control the schedule of how things go. So we'll sit down today and start talking about criminal justice reform at a high level, and we'll talk about some of the bills that we've already heard. Like we had a couple probate bills that nobody's against, so we'll probably exec and vote them out to the floor. So you hear the bill, exec on the bill, vote it out to the floor, and then you got 3 rounds of debate before it goes to the governor.
Okay, that was another. I'm glad you answered that because that was actually another question that Paul and I had. All I know is I'm just a bill, so I'm trying to learn. I'm trying to learn the actual process and be aware of how this is going in real time and where this is going in real time, so we can be better prepared and better aware of where we as the public can input, have input and have impact. So, thank you for explaining that whole process.
It's all civics lessons for us, bro. We're still learning, so we appreciate we're gonna use that as a soundbite at some point, just so we can remember the process. There's a couple of things that first of all, we're coming up on the 8 o'clock hour for Sky Omaha Radio, First Sky Omaha in the morning. Paul Beeee, Buddi3 Da Gawd, all of you chat chimers, all of you ghost listeners, and we are here with brothers Senators Terrell, McKinney, and Justin Wayne. Put some respect on their names for the legislative report today. They have gotten up early, even though they've had a long week, to come and answer some questions. Put some questions in the chat if you have some. There's a couple things I want to get to, couple items. Rick Fulton is bringing up one of them. We need to go ahead and go back and talk a little bit about the what they're trying to call the Wayne and McKinney money, LB24. I thought we made that clear. It's not y'all's money, but we'll get back to that. I think there's a town hall that you got coming up, or is it a town hall you guys are talking about doing in order to answer some of these questions? I thought I saw a flyer somewhere, but didn't see a date. So we're definitely going to talk about that. Also, another thing that I've been getting emails and inboxes about, talking to you guys about, Brother Wayne. There's a bill that you got coming up that is trying to add 2 more seats.
LB21.
LB21 redistricting some things if that happens. And so those are the 2 things that I kind of want to talk to you guys about before you tell us about what you're going to be pushing next week.
I can start. Well, so the 7 to 9 seat is in urban affairs. I gotta go over there and lobby my friend Senator McKinney to exec on it. He been playing difficult, but it's okay. No. So the thought process is, right now you got some districts that have 100,000 people in it, and so if you add 2 seats, it'll cut it down to about 40 to 55, depending on which district. So it's just about. For me, it's about people knowing their city councilmen and make sure we can hold people accountable. So in the legislative districts, we have about 45 to 50,000 people per district, and so that's where it came from. It wasn't some plot or stellar idea. I was just like, we only have 45 to 55. Maybe the city should have the same.
Yeah. And I see you mentioned. I think you had posted on Facebook or something that there's people who. Like your representative, whoever represents you in city council, like there's like they represent too many people.
Right.
Basically.
So he represents. So Pete Festerson represents me, and I live over by Emmanuel Hospital, and then he also represents Dundee, and he represents part of North Omaha, and that's just pretty different, diverse little groups there. And so
it is.
So trying to get people just to be able to know their city councilmen and I don't want it to expand to like 15, 25 or, but that was the reason behind it. Nothing, anything else, but just to try to get people closer to their council people, to hold people accountable.
Yeah. My main question with that was, how do you see that breaking up? Like, how do you see, that representation?
It would be up to the city council. I am flirting with an amendment that was brought up at the council at the meeting about moving our elections to even, to presidential elections with national elections. And the reason why I'm thinking about that amendment is because we do a presidential campaign in November, and then we turn around and try to get people engaged locally in April. And I think people are burnt out from the previous election. I mean, election people, all the negative and all this crazy stuff going on, and then you have the holidays, and then you're supposed to turn around and get excited about another election. I just think people are like, man, I'm electioned out, especially if your person didn't win. You got hurt for 3 or 4 months.
Yeah. Or you just like, I just voted. Like, you just voted for two is a real thing. So I kind of like that idea as far as just getting it all done at one fall swoop, just knocking it all out at the same time.
Let me ask you something about that. If what you're trying to do goes through, will it read the lines move as far as the districts are concerned? I know everybody's trying to say that they're trying to take away like Riverfront and stuff like that from North, and that's been something that I've heard Chad Chimers say that people are trying to do. Would that be in question? Would that be something that might happen if
No, so they would have to read the city council would redistrict themselves. We can't tell them what their district should look like. We can just say that it should be 7 or 9, but it would still be district wide. But if you were to look at a map and do it, you would add probably one out in the Northwest area, and you would add one about Midtown, downtown. So you would have a true North-South representation, and you would have true West representation, where you don't have this banana with Pete Festerson, like I said, being in North Omaha and being in Dundee.
Okay. All right.
Well, I just have one last question. Is this something that the new council members, is this something that people will vote on? Is this something the mayor would appoint, or how, if this does go through?
No, so it would start 2025 at the new election. So
okay, so it would just go through a new campaign cycle.
Yeah, it'd be a whole new campaign cycle.
Okay.
I hope that satisfies the chat chimers that had questions about that. If you have any more questions about that, let's put them in the chat or put them in Friends of First Sky Omaha. We can talk about it again another time. I definitely want to jump to there's a lot of talk in the chat here on 1024. We can get back to that. I kind of sometimes when we're talking about LB 1024, I'm like, man, is this our fault? Did we? Is this because like you see now I'm like, is this all now that I got wind that there's more things happening than 1024? I'm like, okay, we can't just only be talking about 1024 all the time. There's so much more money out here and so many other things going on. But I know that was a lot of what we talked about last season because we were trying to figure out what to do, how to suggest what to do with that money. But now we're in a different situation these days, and it has called for you guys to want to do a town hall because of all the feedback. Tell us about this town hall. Tell us about where we're at on that. I'm going to try to go through some of this chat and pull some of these comments and questions out while you do that. But where are we at on this situation? I'll start with Kimmer Snipes has a question. Will LB 1024 stay with the Urban Affairs Committee? Someone may have already asked.
So LB 531 was sent to Urban Affairs, but then there was also another bill that went to appropriations. But 531 and Urban Affairs will be the main bill. We're gonna meet today and discuss and talk about the process going forward between us senators about an amendment to it to try to address some issues. But that's it.
Okay. So where are we at on 1024? What kind of feed? Are you guys still getting bombarded with calls and questions? And tell us. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's cool. I mean, but where we at is what we've been saying for a while is it's got to go through the legislative process. It'll probably be over at Department of Economic Development. They're gonna open up a grant application. So, take what you did and build on it. Close the gaps. It's a starting point.
And when you say that, you mean like the proposals that people put out that went through the suggestion, go back to the drawing board, clean it up. When you say fill the gaps, is that what you mean?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how DED is going to write their regulations, but there's still got to be an application process. That's what I mean. That's what you're saying. These are just recommendations, and at the end of the day, there's still got to be an application process. Somebody has to apply somewhere to get it, and they can't apply to Terrell and Justin. They can't apply it to the legislature. It has to go through the governor's wing.
The administrative branch, which is the Department of Economic Development. Is that what you said? The DED.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
So is there a deadline for those, or is it kind of just whenever the application?
We haven't even passed the bill, so
okay.
The bill won't be passed until March or maybe early April because it's got money attached to it, so it's called an A bill, which means appropriation bill. You got to have dollars behind it. But you can't appropriate the dollars until you appropriate your budget. Our budget isn't required to be done until after March 1st. So
okay,
we might not even have a conversation about budget until March 1st.
Okay,
which is interesting though because appropriations meeting right now, and so you better believe people are talking about the money that we have and whether we should move it somewhere else.
Mm-hmm. So it's upon us to kind of act right, come together, and really figure out what we're doing.
Absolutely.
And okay, so that's kind of where we are as far as the people in the public. Like, it's still not too late to again look at your proposal, what you presented to Olson, go back to the drawing board, team up with some folks, and it's not too late. If you still got a proposal, clean it up.
Rick Fulton in the chat at the meeting at Creighton last night. A number of people from North Omaha, like Phyllis Butler, wanted to know when LB 1024 will be up for discussion. So let's get back to that. You guys are still talking about the town hall.
It's not officially set yet, but hopefully this weekend we'll do a town hall. Most likely Sunday. Just the time and location just being worked out. I'm looking at the chat. Our intent and our full intent has always been to get the money to the right places in North Omaha, and that's what we're trying to do. And all you people that keep casting doubt on the process, don't make it easy for us down here to even make sure we get the money to our community. So if you're not working towards a solution and trying to assist us in getting this passed, it's super unproductive to just keep trying to cast doubt on us. y'all don't trust us, say it. If y'all don't believe us, say it. But I'm just saying we're doing our best to try to make sure the money gets to the right spots.
Mm-hmm.
I'll leave it at that.
Yeah,
What,
I mean,
what
I'm just gonna say I think it's clearly it's just a lack of understanding of the process and how this works.
tell us what criticism are you guys what is still the narrative here that people are they trying to say this y'all's have control of the money, or what's the main criticism here?
I mean, really the main criticism is they want us to influence the process for them, not for anybody else. And if we don't influence the process, then it's just Olson's, another company outside of North Omaha coming in and dictating where it goes. And so on one hand, they want me just to go in and say, no, the money's going over here. But then they get mad if I do that, it don't go to them. So it's like, that's I mean, it is what it is. I think what I've learned from this is that, one, our community has a sense of entitlement, and I'm not saying it's in a negative way. I'm saying it that we've been so long yearning for resources, so long talking about here's opportunity. We've been studied to death. We've been planned to death. We got more plans for North Omaha sitting on the shelf than probably any other city, because that makes people feel good, particularly those outside of our community saying, oh, we just gonna give them a little bit, make them feel good. But at the end of the day, there was these dollars out here, and everybody just thought like, finally, this is my time. Finally, this is our opportunity to build our dream. And I didn't understand the depth of that lack of resource. I mean, so from my perspective, if I would do it over, not that I wouldn't be as transparent, but I would fight for where I think the money should go, not have an independent process or whatever, and just leave it to DED to figure out. I think we gave too many people too much hope because we were transparent. Everybody got to compete, and people have been looking for this opportunity for the last 40, 50 years.
I think you said the word though. And this is kind of where I'm not happy with our community, because you said compete. We as a community, we shouldn't be competing for this money. We should be coming together to work together. Like, hey, how can this better serve all of us? Because competing for it, we're going to fumble the bag. I just see it. We're going to fumble the bag. We're going to shoot ourselves in the foot. We're going to cut off our nose to spite our face.
Yeah, and I understand that with money and historical things that have been done, as far as in our community, broken promises and things like that. So I'm fully understanding of that. But I guess my issue is, it's not, I wouldn't even say it's an issue. It's just that every time we express that, we're trying to work it out to make sure people in North Omaha are able to take advantage of this opportunity. It's still, oh, we doubt it. We doubt it. We doubt it. So, I mean, it's like, what are we supposed to do? Like, I'm not saying don't, hold us accountable and those type of things, but if it's just constant doubt, I just don't understand.
Yeah. You guys still gotta give you a chance.
What do you think is going to be accomplished if you have a town hall Sunday? Is this more to hear more criticism and listen to what they're saying and answer questions directly? Is this to clear the process? What do you want to accomplish on Sunday?
Just clear some things up, have a conversation with the community, do as best as possible to answer questions that people might still have, and just go from there.
Yeah. I have to agree with Sister Snipe in the chat. She says, unfortunately, this is politics mixed with money and communities of color. Most of this pushback is really trauma and misunderstanding.
I'm also going to jump in the chat with Rick Fulton. The reason why I want to address Rick Fulton's questions is because I'm not really sure how to frame what you're asking, bro. You got you're putting a lot of stuff out there. And I'm trying to frame it in a way that I'm trying to figure out how to ask these questions. Like, for instance, did Mr. Wayne declare the streetcar are super blighted just because the corporations wanted a streetcar?
So let me jump in on this. So let's first talk. Blighted areas doesn't come from the legislature. It comes from the city council level. They declare what's blighted, what's not blighted. Well, what I did in 2018 is we passed a bill in 2020, a constitutional amendment that we added extremely blighted. And the reason I added extremely blighted was for North and South Omaha, and it's really simple. if the city can offer TIF to a company to go to 138th or 72nd and Dodge, and they can only offer TIF to go to North Omaha, then those companies are going to go out west for insurance purposes. I can just keep going on. So we passed this bill called extremely blighted. What I didn't calculate, because they think smarter sometimes than we do. I left a little bit too much vague on the definition, and so the city of Omaha extremely blighted the entire downtown.
Oh,
so we're trying to figure
Please.
out how to change the definition now. They just did that a year ago. So, but we don't have anything to do with TIF as far as what the city council does with it, nor declaring blighted or unblighted areas. That's all city council level.
Mm-hmm.
So, to answer the question, how did Mr. Wayne declare the downtown area super blighted and access the streetcar? You're saying you didn't. The city council, the city did. The city did.
The city did. I got nothing to do with that.
Yeah. So, like I said, I've been sitting here trying to figure out how to. There's got to be a way that we can communicate some of these questions and answers without it being. I mean, I'm sure that everybody has questions, so I'm trying to figure out how we can help facilitate to get to some actual to make some actual change happen here. I'm always stuck with this. I'm always stuck. We can consider ourselves an organization here that we can try to help translate some things and communicate some things and get people on the same page. And I don't want this to be an interview where we're sitting here for a half an hour with people that are just throwing out leading question after leading question in order to get an argument started and so on and so forth. That's not what this is for. But I do want to respect the fact that people have questions in the first place. We have questions too. We are always trying to learn this process, and the process is very complicated. Something that you guys are digging into every single day, and still navigating. And so those of us that are doing it on the side here and there are, it's tough to understand things all the time. So we're trying to figure that out. So it's 8:17 right now. We can't keep you guys the whole show as well. So I'd like to try to get to some at some point. I'd like to try to get to what we're going to do. Somebody just in the chat asked, is there going to be a town hall on Sunday? Yeah, that was answered. There is going to be a town hall on Sunday. They're trying to lock down a time and a location. So maybe when that happens, we'll go ahead and put that up on Friends of First Sky Omaha, and you guys can go check that out. Once we put the time and the place up, and then you can maybe it's just not going to happen through us. Maybe it's something you need to go down and talk to these brothers face to face and ask your questions there too. I'm feeling a little bit like we lean in a little bit into the disrespectful territory. You guys know how I feel about that on this show. So I want us to be respectful and let's give people the benefit of the doubt. Let's ask valid questions that'll help us get somewhere and get to some kind of understanding and not be argumentative.
Yeah, I mean,
if that can't happen, I'll just ignore the comment. Number one. So, go ahead, buddy. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, yeah, you good. I just wanted to address specifically. I mean, Brother Rick Fulton. These are the questions that you're asking, and I see later on in the chat he says didn't know the city called it extremely blighted. And what I'm saying is just a lack of information. These are misinformed questions, and we appreciate the questions, but let's get down to the information first. And that's why I'm trying to hammer down the process. This is why we're so heavy. Like, we don't want to talk about government and civics all the time, but we understand that we don't know how this system works. We don't know how America works. People go to work and go home. That's it. Nobody knows how any of these decisions are made.
Well, our schools ain't even teaching us no more.
Exactly. So this is what we're dealing with. Like, this is what we're dealing with. Trying to figure out how the game. Yeah. We can't play the game if we don't know the rules.
I'm not saying don't tell us straight. Definitely tell us straight. We about straight. We about real talk, real time here for sure. But we got to get somewhere with it. Can't just be on here arguing. That's all I'm saying.
Right. And throwing out misinformed questions.
And if it came off as us blaming people, I wouldn't say it's blaming people. I mean, I'm black. I grew up black. I've been black my whole life. So I understand how the government has screwed us. And I'm very aware of that. And I walk that with me that's with me every day I come down to Lincoln, and every day I try to do something. I ain't forgot that I'm Black. I never forget that I'm Black and what the government has done to us and continue to do to us. So we're in those rooms having those fights. So just know that when I go into a room, I ain't biting my tongue for nobody.
You can watch that on the channel, the legislative floor, man. We're watching it on the channel. You know, it's when Brother McKinney chimes up with a question where everybody goes, okay, what's he about to really ask? He about to really make somebody answer something now. Definitely get down there and be part of the process more. Like somebody said in the chat here, these are two of the most accessible senators ever that we can approach them. We can hang with them. We can go down to the legislature with them. We can support some of these things that are happening and hear for ourselves and get a lot of these questions answered for sure. So and like Kimber Snipe says, we can't please everybody. Somebody's always going to be mad. This is true.
Yeah,
Got to figure out who, do the best we can do and keep it moving in the direction. We always fall on the side of, if we know that we doing right, and and the people that we are respecting and is understanding that we're doing have the best intentions of what we're doing. Sometimes you just got to go with that and let everybody be mad. So but at the same time, you guys, like I said, you guys have gone above and beyond any other senators that I've ever met personally, where we're trying to answer questions and help out. So let's keep that momentum going and moving. We'll definitely put that information in there on Sunday, for sure. Before I let you guys get out of here, tell us what you guys got coming up. Somebody was mentioning next Wednesday there was an important thing coming up. We're still here trying to work with Preston Love on getting the bus and getting people up to the legislature.
Man, more than 2 people.
So Senator McKinney next Wednesday in Judiciary, the committee I'm a chair of, has LB 284, which is the police oversight bill.
Is that the Brady Gigley?
Yeah, if you're ever looking at police oversight, and Terrell can tell you more about that, but that's I'm just gonna give you the schedule and let Terrell talk. Thursday is marijuana day, is what I call it in Judiciary. So we'll have Adopt a Cannabis Act, Medical Cannabis Act in the morning at 9:30, and then at 1:30 we have my bill LB 22, which is to decriminalize weed. And then Senator McKinney has LB 634, which is the Clean Slate Act.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's Wednesday and Thursday of next week.
Were you gonna say something, Senator McKinney?
Oh, I was gonna say 284 is the police. It got municipal. So within the bill, it's it has requirements for a municipal police oversight committee appointed by the city council that has investigatory powers. It has something saying a Brady Giglio list should be public. It would ban gang list. It require law enforcement to have 4-year college degrees. It would add active officers to the Crime Commission's officer misconduct database on their website. Forget, I think I'm missing something, but
that sounds good.
And yeah, and then the marijuana bill as well on Thursday. And just to reply to the chat, if y'all don't like the recommendations, just email me, call my office, let's talk.
Yeah,
feel free to do that. I'm all for it. It's recommendations. I don't fully do it, but we didn't do the recommendations. So
and they're only recommendations. Like nobody got anything. Like that is like, you don't understand. Nobody got anything. What are you talking about? Nobody received anything. That is like, let's stop dividing the community. Nobody received anything. Let's come together.
And let's be clear. Somebody said I'm not being sensitive. I'm just being frank and plain, and just being honest. It's not about being sensitive. I understand I signed up to be a senator, and that means you put yourself on a platform to be criticized. I'm not being sensitive. I'm just being honest. And if you're taking that as sensitivity, then look on the other end. But I'll leave it there.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Rick Fulton, if Mr. Wayne hadn't incorporated an entity that then got recommended for $40 million by Olson, maybe you would have such negative feedback. You care to answer that since I don't want to be perceived as being too sensitive here either. So let's go ahead and get into it for a second.
Right. I mean, at the end of the day, if Charles Drew gives money to Kenny McMorris is my fraternity brother. If Black Men United get money, I incorporated them 10 years ago. I can tell you about half of the people on the boards of half of the corporation or half of the companies that at some point I represented. If you lived in North Omaha, I represented you or you somebody in your family. I mean, look, at the end of the day, we've been transparent. So I mean, that's what I'm gonna tell everybody. We've been transparent. You can go look at everything else, but when it comes to the city in Douglas County, 223, tell me how you stack up against everybody else. Tell me what formula criteria did they use? Like I'm that ain't the best process, but man, I'm at the point right now we trying to come together. Like we talking down here about a North Omaha streetcar line. We over here talking about how to get Charles Drew money, how to get Malcolm X money, how to get Black media money. We having these conversations, but it's just at the end of the day, everybody can see the comments and they're like, "Hey, we'll take this money to go build a lake."
600 million, and we talking about 40.
We always have to remind people about that all the time too. If the money don't come, there's people sitting in the wings waiting to grab it and do pet projects and stuff like lakes, and that's real too. Jazari Kawal has put this in here twice.
Yeah.
Can you guys briefly talk about the additional funds that could be amended to the bill? Would that be an opportunity for them to try again, or would those funds be for certain projects and proposals?
Honestly, we ain't even had time to talk about additional funds. We've been trying to work out the issues with this, and we have other bills that we got to try to get passed too, dealing with criminal justice reform, for example. We're going to sit down as a committee and talk about that. But honestly, we've been so busy, we haven't even had the time to sit down and discuss that in detail, honestly.
Yeah. And to that, I want to go ahead and let you guys get going, man, because I know you guys got a long day. Just want to say with what Brother McKinney just said, you got to remember that these brothers are doing this. This is basically a service to the community because $12,000 a year don't cut. It's not a full-time job. They both still work, still got all these other things going on, and still trying to find time to do that. In the legislative sessions, if you're tuned in on Friends for Sky Omaha, we copy those sessions over there so you can sit there and watch them. And you can watch these brothers sitting there for hours, listening to testimonies and doing everything that they're doing on top of everything else that's happening. So, we took it upon ourselves to try to step in here a little bit and be able to relay some information and translate some things here and there, so we can have some more understanding. And I feel like I'm not making the progress that I want to make completely yet. I've seen it move incrementally here and there, and all we can keep doing is keep trying. These brothers continue to decide that they want to keep coming back here on Fridays and keep this conversation going, then we'll do as much as we can on those time frames, and just help people get up there and check out these sessions for ourselves, so we can sit there and listen and understand the things that we need to understand. We also got to do some digging and do some researching and everything too. Can't just wait on them to let us know and all the process and everything that's going on. It's not really their job to do it that way. So they're up there fighting. I'm of a mind to help them to fight for the things that we're trying to fight for. I appreciate all the chat chimers that are on that tip. I appreciate the chat chimers that want to challenge that as well. I welcome those comments and things like that. I just want to get somewhere with it. So we're gonna continue to get there as much as we can. Brothers, let us know when that Sunday thing is going to happen. We'll go ahead and put that on the site so we can let people come out.
Well, let me just say this real quick, though. So it isn't about people being sensitive. It isn't about people being upset. At the end of the day, there's a separation of powers. We appropriate dollars as legislatures. We give that to the governor's branch to implement and enforce. We can't give people directly dollars. So the question is to the community, and this is what I'm going to pose on Sunday. We write a bill without any other recommendations, and it goes to DED, and we're going to let the governor's people, and remember, it ain't just North and South Omaha, it's any qualified census tracts. There are a lot of projects for downtown. So if we send over just, hey, here goes no restrictions, y'all just go ahead and redo the whole process. Now y'all truly competing with everybody else in Omaha. There's a qualified census tract in Western Omaha. There's a Walmart on 99th is a qualified census tract of that whole area. There's people who want to develop around there. So what we're trying to figure out, or Senator McKinney's trying to figure out in the conversation he's been having with other senators, is how do we send it over there with flexibility that people can take their current application and maybe bump up and reapply, but still put some straits around making sure it goes to North and South Omaha.
Right.
Like, we can't just give the money to North and South Omaha. It's got to go through the governor's office. And remember, the governor has enough power when we pass Medicaid expansion not to implement it for 3.5 years.
So
or when the people vote on capital punishment, to go ahead and pay for it with his own money anyway.
So I'm just saying, like there's these, I keep using the word nuances, but that's the issue, right? Like, there's nuances to this. You send over a clean bill and say, just create North and South Omaha program and qualify census tracts. Well, there's some nice projects we see in this grant application for downtown, and now you're competing with the big dogs. Right now, the big dogs kind of got eliminated from downtown because they focused on North and South Omaha. Did they do the best of the best? It's hard to do that in 4 months, but at the end of the day, this is what we got. So I just want people to understand that.
Sister Snipe also in the chat says nobody's talking about South Omaha, which is a part of it too. South Omaha as well.
Their representation come on the show anytime they want to.
That's a good point.
They certainly can. They certainly can. Let them know. Let them know. We're gonna let you guys get out. We're gonna let you guys get out here, man. 8:30 right now. If you believe in the concept of time, I'll leave you with a couple good words. Pop says, "Thank you, brothers, for your self-sacrificing efforts in behalf of the citizens of Omaha." Nunaji L says, "Thank you for showing up and speaking today. Appreciate that very much." Guys, take some time to go back and look through some of these things. Some of these. I know that Brother Terrell McKinney's been going through the chat too with me. Kimra cracks me up on that because I always tell her, "Quit looking at the chat and just do the interview." But today we needed y'all's help to look at this chat because the chat's kind of going off and it's questions and comments to y'all, and I want y'all to have a chance to respond to all those things. So once again, like I said, man, if you guys continue to come back on Fridays, we really would appreciate it. We'll keep on opening this up and keep this conversation going. I've personally learned more in the last 5 or 6 months over this process than I've ever known. And so even for just me personally, I really appreciate you guys coming on. Let me know what's up. You got me. I had a dream I was a senator last night, bro. You're going to have me. If I learn too much in about 5 years, I might have to run myself. We'll see what's going on.
Go ahead and run. I'll be a lobbyist. I'll be a lobbyist or something. I'll help out.
Yeah, well, I got a long way to go to learn what's up, right? And I also think about brother McKinney. You going to law school and everything else. It's a big commitment, man, to be in here trying to help and be a part of this situation. So not all of us can do that. So we really appreciate you guys who have done that. So anyway, any last words before we let you guys get out of here, man?
No, thank y'all for having us on. Thank you to everybody that do comment. Whether we agree or not, I appreciate the dialogue. So don't take it as me not appreciating it, because I think that type of dialogue is needed to get to the bottom of things, and that's why we come on, so we can answer those questions and not run from them.
Appreciate that, man. 50 years of hip hop this year. One of y'all give us one of your favorite hip hop songs before you take off.
Me Against the World.
Hey, he had it ready.
I knew you was gonna say that. I knew you was gonna say that. Man,
hey.
I don't know. There's so many of them. I don't know.
Is. All right, I'll tell you what. Give me one from the 80s. Give me. Let's start with the decades. Give me
the 80s.
Yeah, give me one.
I'll pick anything on the Breaking soundtrack.
Okay.
Hey.
Okay. Make me grab my broom.
Public Enemy. What is it? That one. Still House something. It's a Public Enemy song about breaking out of prison. I can't remember the right name though.
I'm gonna go look it up. Okay,
yeah, I have to check that out.
Hey man, I appreciate your brothers coming on, man, for sure. Like I said, we'll hopefully we'll see you up there. We're gonna try to get some heads up there during next week's sessions. We're gonna keep on pushing that as much as we can. Brother Preston Love said we can use his bus, pile some folks in and come down, and hopefully not just come down and sit in there, but also get up and speak when it's time too. So we're gonna keep on pushing that. Appreciate all the work you're doing, and if we don't see you then we'll see you Friday again.
Appreciate y'all.
All right, peace.
Man. Peace.
Peace.
All right, there you go. Yep. Appreciate everybody's comments, man. I'm sorry that I couldn't. There was so much going on. I feel like I couldn't get to all of it and all that stuff. So I appreciate everybody that's doing that. We'll definitely look back on this. If you miss any parts of that interview or this show, you can always go back to Facebook or YouTube and check out the show in its entirety. And when you do, definitely go through the chats, because the chats are part of this conversation in a big way. And I'm thinking maybe next week we can even talk to some of the folks that have been on talking, and maybe I don't know, man. Like, get a list of questions from everybody. We got to figure out some kind of way to get more efficient on the half an hour that we got with the brothers. Is what I'm trying to get to. So if you guys can help me figure that out, let me know, and we'll figure it out. Yeah, I'm gonna have to smell the coffee beans on that one. We'll take a quick break, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, you're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio, First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Paul
Beeee, Buddi3 Da Gawd, all of you chat chimers, all of you ghost listeners, the ladies, the fellas, the sucker MCs. We'll be right back.
I love you, baby. I love you, baby. I love you, baby.
Welcome back. You're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio, First Sky Omaha in the morning. I'll be Buddi3 Da Gawd, all of you chat chimers, all of you ghost listeners. That track coming to a First Sky Omaha mixtape near you.
That's a bad Damie, man. I don't know what I was thinking when I cooked that up.
Bad Damie, bro. I'm gonna have to get on that. You know, you never heard me say that before. Yo, Kimber Snipe says y'all need to host a panel discussion one day outside of the normal showtime. Yeah, that's a good question. That's a good. I will try to find out how to do that. We've been trying to work on doing that for the last 2 years, to be honest with you.
Yeah, be honest.
Just like the senators, we also have full-time jobs outside of that. So yeah, we're trying to work on that. But I will say this, man, the fam is expanding. I love the conversation that we had at dinner with Michelle Trosclair, Kimber Snipes, Precious McKesson, about doing a round table with the ladies as well. So yeah, there's a lot that we are planning on working on, and I'm glad that we're getting help. Shout out to Amy Huffless, shout out to Kimber Snipes, shout out to everybody who is helping us behind the scenes on things as well, not just on the show, but really is kind of getting down with that. So, and the senators now too, man. You know, I feel like we got folks there. Also, I saw William King from 95.7 The Boss on a little earlier, Boston with us, saying we're gonna meet him up there next Wednesday at noon. So he's going to come up to the sessions as well. So that's good, man. We got to get everybody that we can in there and on the same page, and really trying to help him back some of these things. So welcome everybody that has joined us and that came on and asked questions and gave comments. I feel like I failed the chat because there was so much coming in. I couldn't get everything, you know. I usually try to to group things together and to ask some concise questions based on what's going on in the chat. But there was so much coming in fast and furious. So I just really encourage everybody to go back and watch the show. Look at the chat again. Definitely check the chat out. And I know the brothers will as well. They've already told me that they've gone back in and answered some questions with some people in the chat before. So they're probably going to end up doing that again, especially after today. So appreciate that very much. Amy Huffer says, "Love that tune." Yeah, man. That's gonna be on. It's got to be on the spot on the thing, man. I'm gonna be like, buddy, let me get on that. I'm gonna be like one of them hungry rappers. Let me get on that track. Sucker MCs, jive turkeys.
That's how you come in. That's how you coming on it.
Coming in, bro. Old heads back. Amy Hubbard says, ask folks to submit all their questions for the senators by Wednesday. Yeah, that's all. Help me think of some ways that we can get it in because we want to give them the questions and the time and so on and so forth as well. We'll see what's going to happen on Sunday, and we'll figure that out. Kimmer Snipe says, I get it. I also have a full-time job and run a nonprofit and volunteer. Trust me, I get it. Yeah, you one of the hardest working women in show business, so I get that. Ghost 402 says, y'all watching that 19 million Omaha just got for rent? Did hear about that. Did hear about that too. They got some money coming in. Yeah, Biden's got some things happening that has brought some more money in. That's what I'm saying, man.
Is that a part of this Bill of Rights for renters?
No, I don't think so. Oh, it might be. It might be. I don't think so though. I think that's happening now. This 19 million was something that was set up to come in. And I think it was is it 19 million? I thought it was more than that. But here's the thing. Every time we talk to them, they keep on reminding us it ain't just about 1024. There's 1.9 billion that came into the state. So there's little things like 19 million here and there coming in all over the place. Infrastructure, digital, broadband, rent. There's all these different things that are coming in all the time that are going, that are the only reason why we don't know about them is because the brothers came on pushing for the North Omaha funds. So unless you follow the legislature and look at all these bills and do this on a regular basis, then you don't even know about the 1.9 billion that came in. Kimmer Snipe says, I just want to help y'all continue getting this information to the people. The education is so important and y'all are doing it. Appreciate the vote of confidence. I appreciate that very much.
Thank you.
We definitely want to expand on that and have room and have ways to do that. And not just expand, man. We're coming at this as a couple of musicians that want to make this not, what's the word I'm looking for? We need to make this halfway entertaining enough to like keep it on our own heads. I was watching the legislative session yesterday and reading the newspaper, and I was like, I swore I would never be this dude. Like,
old head for real.
Yeah, that's old head business for real to be sitting around watching C-SPAN. You know what I'm saying? That type of thing. COVID money for some homeless group. Yeah, there's a lot of ideas here. I like that too, man. There's money out there from COVID still. There's COVID relief. So there's a lot of stuff going on here that we could be doing that, doing something with if we can help. And it sounds like we can. That's the part that's getting me. We can influence where some of that stuff goes and how that works. But ultimately, governor signs off on that.
Yeah.
Which is why we kept on trying to. We had Carol Blood on so many times last season because we was like, we need new blood for real. Because in the end of the day, they sign off on all that stuff or not, or hold off on it. Like you just said, they can pass something. That Governor Pillen can sit on it. He can say everybody can get money that they wanted to get money, and Pillen can sit on that bill for 3 years before they even get that money.
See a dime.
We barking at the wrong.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. We barking up the wrong tree, y'all. We gotta come together because there's actual enemies out there. So asking misinformed questions to the people that's actually trying to help you is counterproductive. I'm all for holding people accountable. I'm all for speaking power to truth. I'm all for not, not going for the okie doke. I'm all for all of that. But let's actually be productive. Let's actually get somewhere and not, be infighting on nonsense that has already been explained 5 times before.
Marianne Williams says, don't forget to read the bills, call and ask questions, and then testify in person online. That's the way you help shape the bill before it's passed. That's the way you put the pressure on the Pillins and then so on and so forth. That's just how it goes. Ghost Sisters 402 says, need to get other people posted into group. Only Kimmer and Marianne, who they communicating with if First Sky don't know. Well, all we can do is try to know, and you're right. And bless them for posting. But yes, we would love to have a lot of people coming in with information, and that really helps the process out for sure. Information is power, Paul. Yeah, you're right. Most def. Like I said, I've learned more in the last 6 months than I've ever known about any of these processes. So,
man, I said, I'm just a bill. That's about it. That's about it.
You gotta do the hip hop version of those.
I'm just a bill, y'all.
Sucker MCs. Kimber Snipe says she knew she wasn't winning. That was an attempt to get voters out for down ballot racist personal opinion. Who you talking about?
Carol Blood.
Oh, okay. But if we weren't grassroots organizing, we will never have the right candidates. Definitely not the ones that will win.
Yep.
Got to organize for sure, man. So
Yep.
yep. Love it. Thank you for joining us over there on YouTube. Again, if you're on YouTube, if you're a first time listener, like and subscribe, all that good stuff. Definitely keep telling a friend, telling a friend, telling a friend. We're going to keep on trying to navigate chat and all those things because that's a heavy part of the show. What you guys are bringing to the show through the chat is the show. So like I said, I apologize for not really being able to keep up with all the stuff that's coming in and really kind of contextualize everything that we need to contextualize to get some answers in a half an hour session. But the bright side of this is we'll have them back on again next Friday so we can try it again and do some more. And hopefully, if you guys stick with us every Friday with the brothers, then we'll have some good understanding and some good conversations. Until then, 8:45 right now. If you believe in the concept of time, only 15 more minutes into the show. We do have some haps that are coming up here in a few minutes, but before that, Buddy, you want to get to a couple of the stories that we were intending on talking about today?
Actually, we're doing pretty good, man. We only have one last story to get into, so let's go ahead and knock that out and then jump into our haps. Let the people know what's going down this weekend and into next week. Some things to look out for. But in the meantime, in between time, let's dive into this Flatwater Free Press story. Again, big shout out to our partners over at Flatwater Free Press doing the good work as far as trying to empower the people with information. And in that fight, in that journey to do that, sometimes they come up against hurdles. Sometimes they come up against outright opposition. And that has led them to court. Actually, the nonprofit is still in a fight over the $44,000 price tag that one state agency put on them in relation to a public records request in regards to drinking water and the level of nitrates in the state's drinking water. Again, that case is now finding its way to the Lancaster County District Courtroom yesterday, and Flatwater Free Press sued the Nebraska Department of Environment and Energy in November over this $44,000 price tag. If the organization is successful, the case has the potential to change completely how state agencies go about charging for public records. Again, this has been a very big hurdle in organizations like Flatwater Free Press, The Reader, Noise, other organizations to get actual information from government agencies. Of course, on Thursday, attorney Dan Gutman, who represents Flatwater, said that in 2022, Flatwater started investigating nitrates on the state's drinking water, saying a public records request was made. And what happened next is what's supposed to happen. The parties talked, the initial request went through and had a broad and resulted in an actual $2,000 cost estimate, which is understandable. It does cost to gather some of those emails. It does cost to get documents to print off. That's understandable. However, this became a problem when that cost ballooned to $44,000 before they would even start the search. So again, this has the possibility to be a pretty big landmark case in regards to, again, us recognizing that information is power. We need to get information from government agencies, the agencies making the most impactful decisions on our lives. And as you see, sometimes those agencies aren't the most cooperative. So again, hopefully this does go the way of Flatwater Free Press, who are out there trying to do the work on behalf of the people, as far as being the fourth estate, as far as keeping government accountable and transparent, and not holding information ransom for $44,000.
And that's the deal is they, it absolutely feels like, oh, we don't want you to have this information, so we're gonna make it as tough as we can for you to get it.
Right.
Which implicates a lot, actually.
Yeah.
Why does that particular department not want you to have that particular information? Who they in cahoots with on that? We're talking about this subject happened to be about water. Are they doing that for every time anybody goes to try to get some information, or was it just this subject? What does that mean? There's a lot to them deciding that they're going to charge somebody $44,000 to gather information that's supposed to be public information. Because a government agency is you got public information here that you're asking them to give you, and they're trying to act like it's going to cost them $44,000 to even go look for it. Doesn't sound like a Stewart Unite says the practice of white supremacy. Yeah, it doesn't sound to me like that's a reasonable amount of money that it would take to go find go find the public records. It sounds like a barrier
Yeah.
for a new news startup. They don't want this particular. They don't want them to do that. So good on Flatwater Free Press for going ahead and suing, and we'll see how this goes in the courts. But it's going to court now because that does seem very very ridiculous. And I don't I can't us doing that. Those are our partners, and we're doing the same kind of job. And if we go to try to get a public record, and that's what they're going to charge us, we can't have that record, which means we can't report the thing. So like, how crazy is that? That they it just seems so out of left field, but it's so obvious to me that they're just trying to block you from getting information. It's intentional for sure. Vicky Young says, why wouldn't it fall under FOIA, Freedom of Information Act? It
FOIA.
does.
Yeah.
That's
why they're
thing.
being sued. That's why they're being sued.
It does fall under FOIA, and that's the point. So they're saying, yeah, you can have it. It's just going to cost. It's going to cost you. It's going to take us some time to go dig it up and print it on some paper, and and whatever. I guess they got to go buy copy machines. I don't know what they're going to do with $44,000.
Well, according to McBride, who was the records manager for the NDEE, testified in this court hearing and said that it would take several hundred hours of time collectively by agency employees to comply with the request, which asks for emails and attachments sent or received by the NDEE staff, in particular divisions containing the keywords nitrate, nutrient, fertilizer, and nitrogen. So basically that $44,000, they're trying to finagle away to charge for that. And they're saying that all the man hours, that's how much it's going to cost. That's how long it's going to take. That's how much it is. They're like, basically they're saying it's too hard. It's too much work for us to do this information. So pay us $44,000 and we'll do it. Otherwise go away. That's the energy.
Can't wait to see how it's going to go in court. We'll see. Court costs is going to cost Flatwater Free Press some money as well. I mean, they're a new independent news outlet, so they're gonna, and how news struggles, how newspapers struggle, how organizations like us is barely hanging on by a thread. All those things are because of the fact that information is we're trying to get the information, and there's a lot of things that block getting the information all the time. This is just another one of them. So we'll see. Shout out. As a matter of fact, hopefully Monday we'll have on somebody from Flatwater Free Press and talk about some of these things too. If you guys remember, we had who was the one who wrote the article about the water? That was which I can't remember. It was one of the
I want to say Yanchi Shu.
Was it?
I believe so.
Yanchi. Okay. Well, yes, about the yeah. So I remember when we had her on, we were talking about this. They had a big article out about the fact that they were going to sue because of the fact that you can't can't get no information on this. Nitrates in the water is a very serious subject that we all need to understand and know what's going on about. And so if we can't get information on that, we're in trouble. And that's why they're taking it so seriously.
Yeah, and they're not just suing, about the money. They are still suing for the information. They are still suing to get the record so they can report it to the people. Like, they're still trying to do the work, and this government agency is making it so hard that they have to go to court just to report, just to be journalists and do their jobs. Mr. Knight is in the chat saying more likely than not, all the records needed are in a database already, and the man hours needed is the push of a button. Yeah, because they're looking for email, so it's already electronically. The data is already there. All you gotta do is search.
Put the word in the search and go and pull them out. But maybe they think it's going. Maybe they got a whole bunch of stuff they got to redact or something, so they think they got to.
What you hiding?
Right, what you hiding? Interesting to see. We'll definitely follow the court case, and shout out to our partners over at Flatwater Free Press for fighting a good fight.
Man, doing the work.
6:54 right now, if you believe in the concept of time, and we got a little bit of time left. It is Friday, so hey, let's jump into
what's the haps? What's happening?
The haps.
What's going down?
Sucker MCs. move a little bit. Ladies and gentlemen, time for the haps, time for the part of the show where we talk a little bit about some things that are going on this weekend, and also time for you to get your haps together and let us know what's going on this weekend, and if there's some things that we need to make sure that we attend. Let us know. We already talked a little bit about the brothers, Senators Terrell, McKinney, and Justin Wayne. Put some respect on their name. Having a town hall on Sunday. Be looking out on Friends of First Sky Omaha for the time and date on that. I'll definitely stay on them so they can give us that when they lock it down. And I'll give you opportunity to go up and talk to the brothers and find out what's going on firsthand. So stay looking for that. If you're not a group member over there at Friends of First Sky Omaha, please check it out. Friends of First Sky Omaha, the group page on Facebook.
Yeah, man.
Join and come on through, and that's where we have a lot of the discussion that we have when we're not on here live. And it's also where we gather a lot of the stories that you guys want to talk about because of the stories that you guys put there on Friends of First Sky Omaha. So definitely check that out. And like I say, we'll put the dates in the place up as soon as we have it. Definitely check them out. Appreciate it very much. Also tomorrow, we definitely got to talk about the brother coming out, Cliff Albright from Black Voters Matter out in Atlanta. He will be here, and he's a co-founder of Black Voters Matter, and he's going to team up with Preston Love, who is the founder of Black Votes Matter here in Omaha. And Deidre Desir will also be here to speak, and we'll be talking about the political climate that's going on out here. The Black Political Summit and Workshop is going on, all about voting, all about being a part of this process, and we can learn more. You can hit Preston Love up if you have any information or need more information, 402-812-3324. But remember, it's going to be over at the Highlander. This is a luncheon that starts at 9 and it goes to noon, I believe. No, 9 to 2. Yep. And you'll be served, lunch will be provided as well. So the venue over there on 30th Street, that's in the Highlander Accelerator, 2120 North 30th, Omaha, Nebraska. Definitely check it out. We're going to be there. I'm going to go and check out some of this myself. So hopefully I'll be able to see you there as well and meet Brother Albright, see what he got going on. So I think, Buddy, you reached out to Brother Albright out there, didn't you?
I have. I've not been able to get in contact with him. But yeah, we've kind of messaged each other, just haven't been able to connect. But yeah, we'll definitely continue to push for that Omaha Atlanta connection, man.
Straight up. Speaking of hip hop and the 50 years of hip hop that's going on here in our world, basically, down here on the Deuce and Culture House on 24th Street, is teaming up with Benson Theater for a DJ battle that's happening on the 4th and the 5th at the Culture House. So definitely check them out. Whoever wins the DJ battle is going to be able to win a performance at the Benson Theater that'll be happening on the 8th. So definitely check that out. Man, I forgot to get that flyer again for it. I have to grab that while we do. You got any haps for the people while I try to grab this flyer real quick?
Yeah, I got a couple to look out for. Actually, just a couple of fun things. Shout out to our partners over at OPA, Omaha Performing Arts. They're holding an event. This is something different, a free ballet Hispanico masterclass at the Bancroft Street Market. So if you want to get out tonight, do a little dancing, just take a break from the hustle and bustle. Again, this is a Latin ballet class. It is free for all who want to join. This is again presented by Omaha Performing Arts. This will be at the Bancroft Market. That's 2702 South 10th Street. Again, that's 2702 South 10th Street. Opens up at 6:30. So yeah, if you want to do a little dancing, have a little fun, do something different.
That's interesting. Okay.
Yeah. Also, another thing that we're big about here at First Sky and maybe taking a pivot into this year is STEM and STEAM. And recognizing those in the community that are working in those areas. Again, as we have resources like the MCC Digital Express coming to the community with the library now opening more due space type facilities. Let's honor those and kind of lean more into technology and STEM in our community. And that's exactly what this event is for. Tomorrow from 7 to 9 p.m. honoring Black women in STEM. This is hosted by Building Our Own LLC, DBA. The Essential Gathering Place is where this will be. Again, that's the Essential Gathering Place, 5001 North 42nd Street. Again, that's 5001 North 42nd Street. And this is held by the Gamble Tech Firm. I believe that's just the Tiffany Gamble, if I'm not mistaken. Again, the Gamble Tech Firm is hosting this, and it's a night of honoring Black women in tech. So, yeah.
That's what's up. Appreciate that. Throw those flyers up when you get a chance on those events there. We'll show the people. Vicky Young is saying grief support at Charles B. Washington Library Saturdays at 11:30 to 1 p.m. starts tomorrow. That's a pretty interesting event there. Okay, so grief share, grief support at the Washington Library. See, that's what I'm saying. We can use libraries for a whole lot of different kinds of things. So
Yeah, man.
there you go. So get grief share, grief support happening 11:30 to 1 p.m. Starting tomorrow over the Charles B. Washington Library. And here's that flyer that Buddy was talking about.
Yep, this is the Black Woman in STEM. Again, it's tomorrow from 6 to 8, 5001 North 42nd Street. That's the essential gathering place. And then we also have OPA Ballet Hispanico Masterclass, a Latin social dance masterclass. So, get your bodies moving.
There you go, man. That's different. I like that.
It is.
That's real cool. Here are the flyers for what's going on with the Culture House Benson Theater collaboration. Ode to Hip Hop, 50 Years of Culture. As you can see, the DJ battle is the 4th and 5th. You can contact Marcy Yates if you need to get some information on that. But also, whoever wins that will be going to the let's see, it's the 12th. Is the February 12th is the concert. So you'll win a paid gig at the Benson Theater February 12th at the hip hop concert featuring Marcy Yates, Light Pole, Thailand Music, and the winning DJ. So that's what's going on there. On the 8th, we'll be playing Crush Groove, the movie, and everybody's encouraged to wear their 80s gear for that over at the Benson Theater happening on February 8th.
Dust off the tracksuits.
Man, see, and then you're gonna read it in the newspaper the next day. Paul B broke his neck trying to ski on his head 50 years later. February 19th, free history of hip hop class with Michelle Trotsclair. She takes it all the way back to Africa, bro. So like, it's the history of hip hop. 11 to 1 p.m. at the Culture House. So definitely go check that out. That's a free event. And then on February 22nd, back at the Benson Theater for a free screening of a KRS One 40 Years in Hip Hop film, and then a conversation between Houston Alexander and Michelle Trotsclair is happening there after the film as well. So month-long tribute to honoring hip hop's past, present, and future. Co-production with the Benson Theater, Culture House, and Douglas County Visitors Improvement Fund. And shout out to them for being a part of helping pay for some of this stuff that's going on. So lots happening there. Again, let us, if you need any information, definitely check out Friends of First Sky Omaha. We will put this in. I can't wait for this situation. Yeah, that'd be great. I can't wait for this situation to happen here, though, at Benson Theater. Some serious hip hop on the stage with a live band. Ode to Hip Hop, 50 Years of Culture concert featuring Marcy Yates, Light Pole, Thailand Music, and the winner of the Culture House DJ battle. So again, that one's happening on February 12th at 6:30. Lots going on there. There's also a special ticket where you can go to all those events and get a discount for saying you're going to attend all the events. So yeah, definitely check that out. Go to bensontheater.org for tickets on that, and you can also get some information on the Culture House website as well. So definitely check that out. 9:03. We're already way past the time that we needed to end this. So definitely check this out. I do have to mention one more time at the Omaha Playhouse, August Wilson's Fences is going on through the weekend. I think through the 12th it's going to be playing. So definitely try to check that out while it's in, and just support the Black actors and directors and people that have put that thing together. We really, really, really want to back that because it's the first time in 90 years they've ever played an August Wilson play at the Omaha Playhouse since they've been open. Wanaloo says, do they want old school DJs? It's the category I would fall into. Hey, if you can still cut and scratch, come on in.
Hey, bring your dusty vinyls and everything.
The dusty vinyl.
Your 45s, just bring it all.
Thanks a lot. Really appreciate everything. Ghost Sisters 402 says, any update on Willie Barney or Ricky Smith coming on the show? Have tons of questions for him. No updates yet. I will still keep reaching out, and we'll try to set something up sooner than later, because I definitely want to talk to them as well and talk to them about some of these funds coming in that they always seem to be able to put their hands on. So let's see what's going on with it. Most definitely. But thanks for that. And yes, we'll put that on soon, and we'll be putting that out there in the ether when that happens, so you can make sure that you can make that show as well. Again, if you miss any parts of the show, you can always go back to Facebook or YouTube watch the show in its entirety, and please share it with other people as well. And I really appreciate everybody who's joining in on this with us. Really appreciate it. Buddy, you got any words for the people?
Man, as always, big shout out to the dynamic duo, the Senators Terrell, McKinney, and Justin Wayne. Put some respect on their names. Definitely appreciate them. Also, big shout out to all of you, the chat chimers, those who are engaging in the conversation. We really appreciate your input. As always, let your mind be free, let your voice be heard. Big shout out to even the ghost listeners, those who are just sitting back, enjoying the conversation as you go through your daily, routine, go through your lives, whatever you got going on in your world. We appreciate you for sharing a little time with us and embarking on this experience. As always, we love you. We thank you. And more importantly, we appreciate you. So definitely catch the same time, same place, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday right here on First Sky Omaha in the morning. And with that, Paul B, take it away, man.
Right on. I want to give a shout out to the Omaha tribe elders for allowing us to be on this land and speak while we're here. Shout out to our elders for allowing us to speak before them. Shout out to you, the chat chimers, allowing us to speak with you. We really appreciate everybody that's on the chat and contribute so many good questions and comments and really enhance the conversation. That's what this is here for. Thank you very much. Thank you also to the reoccurring members and sponsors of the channel who've been with us, especially the ones that have been with us all the way from the jump 2 years ago. Looking at records and seeing you being reoccurring members for so long to help us keep this going. This is the only reason why it's still here 2 years later, and we're trying to enhance and even do more. It's all because of your help. So shout out to everybody who's been volunteering and everybody who is a reoccurring member and sponsor of the channel as well. Go to firstskyOmaha.com, hit the donate button if you want to become one of those, and we really appreciate it and try to get it going. So thank you so much to everybody who's been there and been supporting this whole time. Josh Take says, have a great weekend all. Pop says, great week of shows. Thank you guys. Love you and the First Sky fam. Have a great weekend. Appreciate that. Mama God says, have a great weekend, FB fam, Facebook fam. Really appreciate that. And appreciate everybody that's come on. So thank you so much. Really kind of blows my mind when we take some time to look back on what it is that we've been working on and what this thing evolved into, and then how we are now trying to work at making some kind of a real difference. And just what it is that we learning, man, just learning through just conversation. Like I said, I've learned more in the past 6 months than I ever learned in school with any of these processes and things that we talk about on a weekly basis. So I hope to continue on, man. I'm forever student, and that's how I feel like I grow and learn and can manage in the world. So.
Oh yeah.
Thank you to all of you that have done all the work and work really hard and come up with the information and dig in and share it with us as well. Really appreciate that.
Yeah, man.
Thank you, Mickey Young. I hope we're making a difference. I appreciate that. Yeah. What'd you say?
I said it's a lifelong enterprise, but as far as learning, the constant learning.
Yep.
But yeah, definitely appreciate that. It's nice to know, where we stand and what we're doing.
Season 5, teamwork makes the dream work. Appreciate you very, very much. Thank you very much. We will see you. Have a great weekend. Take care of yourselves. It's supposed to be cold out here in Omaha, so stay warm. Keep the heat on, like they say in Minneapolis. And we'll see you Monday with special guest Carla, who's going to come from El Perico. She's going to be on the show as well. And hopefully we'll bring somebody in from Flatwater Free Press to talk about that case.
Yeah.
So stay tuned. We'll see you on Monday. You guys have a good weekend. Peace.
By the way, Vanglorious. This is protected by the red, the black, and the green. At the crossroad, with the key.
By any